Get over there.
We're on the wrong side, Mario.
You're always on my side. Is that a manifestation from the car videos, do you think?
I don't know.
I'm
Maybe.
always on this side. Yeah.
Maybe. I think so.
Ladies and gentlemen of Hashtag Nation and Bills Mafia, thank you for joining us for the Hashtag Sports presentation of the Buffalo Bills versus the Pittsburgh Steelers post game, where you can only find it here on Hashtag Sports. You can find all of our socials, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you go to Hashtag Sports, as well as all of our episodes will be on iTunes and Spotify. We also have a Patreon. We have some merch as well in our Etsy store, if you want to check that out. What's a hashtag? A hashtag is the ass whooping that the Buffalo Bills placed on the Steelers. But you know what? I'm not surprised at that. And we'll get into it. So we like to thank our sponsor. What's up?
One win closer to 9-7, baby. One win closer to 9-7.
I can't wait. That will never die. We'd like to thank our sponsor for tonight's show, Mr. Rogers Homes. He will be in the description of this video as well, and in association with the DeanBlundell.com, where you can find all of our articles as well. Paul, I got the dumbest hat on. I'm wearing the dumbest shades. I think.
What's with the aviators?
The aviators is because the Bills are flying high, and I just have to match it.
I'm sorry. So, I just had to gag a little bit at that dad joke.
Oh yeah. The guy that just turned 40 is going to knock a dad joke.
You got me.
Anyway, if you're here for the first time, make sure you turn that red subscribe button gray. And if you're here, if you're just sitting in here, why don't you hit that like button and let's all the Bills Mafia fans around the nation know what's going on over here. So, Paul, a tremendously epic ass whooping of biblical proportions, obviously, as we start off every show. Your initial thoughts on the game?
Can we just talk about how many times we have to just pray that Taiwan Jones is not going to touch a football for the Buffalo Bills? What the hell?
Probably the quickest way to get off of this team.
What the hell? Right? You know, and I get it, right? With the win, they're like, oh, we're going to put the veteran guy back there. All right. Like, Micah Hyde's not here. Like, because we've seen Hyde, return punts for Buffalo, right?
Yeah. We've seen him return kickoffs for touchdowns before.
That's what I mean. We've seen this, but no Hyde today. So they put Taiwan Jones back there. And El Capitan quickly drops it on the 2. Thanks so much. But it did create for some the right situation for some early drama, because Allen throws the longest play from, in Bills history, I think, 98 yards. I think that's the longest touchdown in Bills history.
Look at spin. Without Taiwan Jones, Allen does not have a 98.
See, there we go. There it is.
That is true. It does not open up if that happens.
But I want to point out, Allen throws that 98-yard touchdown to Gabe Davis. The next quarter, Pittsburgh goes to punt into that exact same wind, and it goes 28 yards. So I just want to point out that some people are just built different, right? Allen is just built different. Beautiful job watching the safety. As soon as he saw the safety drop down, he knew the corner was going to give the inside to Davis on that route. Safety drops down. He goes, double covered? Not anymore. He just throws it over top of him. Beautiful job.
We've covered this team for a long time, Paul, and there are times where there's nail biters. You're cursing at the TV a bunch of times and stuff. Let me tell you a little story real quick. I was in Virginia this August, bringing my kids down to see their cousins and stuff like that. And the one night they wanted to have donuts for a treat. I said, fine.
For dinner?
No, after dinner. It was they just wanted some treats and stuff.
You want to throw 30 packets of ketchup at them as well?
You know what? If Frankenstein asked me for 30 packets of ketchup, I'm giving him 30 packets of ketchup. I'm not denying that kid anything. Anyway,
they do wipe their own ass.
So it's like it's like 7:00, and I go and I pick up quart of milk and some donuts. And the guy sitting there that's ringing me out goes, "Milk and donuts. I feel you." He just starts ringing them out. By the time the second quarter hit, I'm on the couch going, "All right, Bills, I feel you." That's basically what it was. Like, Allen threw a pick. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. They did this. They can't run. No, I don't care.
Whatever.
It doesn't. It's okay. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. That one touched the ground. That one touched the ground. It's really refreshing to be able to cheer for a team finally that you don't need to. It doesn't seem like there's any worry when 17's on the field. There really isn't. It's great.
I said something to my son. He's 16, right? So as they get older, kids watch the game different, right? Before, they're watching the game to be entertained, and as they get older and they start listening to the rantings and ravings of their dad with a YouTube channel, things change. The conversation changes a little bit, and I said to him today, I go, listen, football is a wonderful game because you can plan and prepare, and you can look at guys' strengths and weaknesses, and you can figure out ways to exploit those. And football is an ultimate game of chess, right? Mm-hmm. Except when you have to play Josh Allen, because it just doesn't matter. It just you don't beat Josh Allen. Josh Allen loses to you, right? Like Josh Allen is slowly becoming the Chuck Norris of football, right? There's just no way around it.
Did you tweet that?
No, I did not.
Excellent tweet.
Oh, thank you. That's that coming from you, the man with 40 retweets and 120 something likes of a video of Josh Allen being lifted up into the air by Jordan Poyer to the Dirty Dancing. Jordan Phillips. Yeah, Jordan Phillips. That's right.
Yeah, it was funny.
We didn't want Poyer lifting him.
Yeah, the responses to that are kind of funny. Like, it really puts that fight that they had in camp to bed.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess. If you guys haven't seen it, go check out hashtag Sports 2.0. I redid a video that Kristen Kimmick put out, and I just put the Time of My Life soundtrack in the background from Dirty Dancing. It's quite epic. Hopefully you guys check that out. So initial thoughts on the game, obviously with the inactive report when we saw at the beginning of the game, right. Edmonds is out. Knox is out. So you're thinking there, okay, what are they doing? What's going to happen? Poyer out. Mm-hmm. There's probably a couple more. I'm just forgetting it. Those are the ones I just remembered. But we started thinking, okay. No, I said Edmonds.
Oh, you said Edmonds?
Yeah. So, with Tremaine Edmonds out, you were wondering, okay, because how my mind works, but let me just enlighten hashtag Nation. Okay. Is Milano going to be able to run this defense? Right. We're going to see if Milano can run this defense. Okay, that's number one. Number two, with Knox out, how are they going to circumvent that position? They have a zone blocking scheme. He is pretty vital in the run blocking scheme that they have in there. He's the one that runs the trap play. Morris played brilliantly. He didn't play like a tight end to me today.
No.
He was agile, athletic. I mean, some things that we've already seen in practice, but now the whole nation gets to see what it is. Isaiah Hodges gets called up, finally gets his due, comes up.
Today was a good day for Mario Granado, wasn't it? Isaiah Hodges gets his very first NFL reception. Duggar in the Pats game returns one for a touchdown. Like, today was Mario Granada's day.
Everywhere but fantasy football, because I was playing against Allen today. And I could not care less.
I feel that.
But it was interesting to see. Milano was everywhere, and when are announcers going to stop saying, yeah, he doesn't get much press? Yet every announcer in every game so far has talked about him as the underdog. Like, when do you stop being the underdog at the linebacker position for the Bills?
Right.
So what was your take on Milano today when you saw in the game?
Listen, I've been saying this for a while, right? This team likes to re-sign players that they plan on keeping sometime either before the season or early into the season, right? Tremaine's in a contract year.
Yes.
Is he signed at this point? No. You can't let Tremaine even get close to free agency if you're planning on keeping him, right?
It's so bad,
so maybe
too,
today,
because,
but Milano, you got another year of Milano. So
2, don't you?
I think 1 is a voided year. I'll double check. I've got over the cap pulled up right now.
I thought he had. All right, you pull over the
cap. There's plentyofcap.com. Hold on. Let me go to plentyofcap.com.
Plenty of cap. That was probably one of the funniest episodes ever. So I thought Milano, just see if I'm right or wrong here. I thought Milano is this year and then 2 more and then 2 voided after that, I believe.
He's in for 23 and 24 and then voided 25, 26.
So they don't plan on, or they could just restructure that. I understand they could do that stuff if he's the guy that they want to have in the, but they love recycling and bringing young guys in. If you're just coming into the chat, 55 of y'all in here, make sure you smash that like button and that subscribe button. We're 10 minutes in, Paul. We're going to start being Debbie Downers immediately? Like, what's going on?
No, come on now. That's not us.
No, but like it is true. Like that's some of the things you have to think about. Maybe like down the line we'll do an episode on
Yeah.
Tremaine, but the point is, you're right. If they want you here and you're one of the guys that are going to be one of the individuals that's going to be one of the pillars of this team, they sign you quick. Like they don't let anybody get a chance. Gabe Davis on the offensive side of the ball could be one of those. He's also in a contract year. So if you had a choice to franchise Tremaine or Davis, you're probably going to franchise Tremaine because it's cheaper, just because it's cheaper.
Well, I mean, and you're looking at wide receivers are getting $20 million a year, like there's some big money out there for wide receivers, like big money.
Yeah.
And, Buffalo's pretty fortunate with the fact that, Diggs has got a cap number of $11.7 million. Gabe Davis, I mean, he's going to get paid. And mind you, right, you take a look at Gabe Davis's line, you're like, wow, 171 yards, 2 touchdowns. That was on 3 receptions. So 3 receptions.
But you also have to acknowledge, now we're not knocking Davis, but at least I'm not, because I'm saying it. I'm not putting Paul in this. I'll get all the heat if I get this. Mm-hmm. We have seen over the years guys that were number 2s that teams thought they were number 1s.
Right.
And they weren't. Mm-hmm. Davis, we have to acknowledge that Davis is who Davis is because he has Diggs on the other side. We have to acknowledge it, and it's not a knock to him.
And to be honest, and it's not, but I do want to point out, Mar, that he does still have one more year after this.
Oh, right? He does. Because,
okay. Because 2020 was his first season, right? So he's in his 3rd year right now.
Gotcha.
So he does have one more year on that rookie deal. But the fact of the matter is, just as we just talked about, just because you have 1 year left doesn't mean that if you're in the long-term plans of Buffalo, they're not going to get you out of that final year. Right.
Absolutely.
And they're going to restructure that final year and add an extension to it. They've done that, in multiple scenarios. You still have to look at that with Ed Oliver. You don't know if they're going to, what their plan is there. You don't know what their plan is with Tremaine. You got Gabe Davis coming down the line. You don't know exactly what to do there. You got to look at what you're going to do with Poyer because, up until, recently, Poyer was playing probably some of the best football of his career. So like there's a lot in the money, but I think that's a conversation for another day.
Absolutely. No question.
This game does show you the depth of Buffalo and shows you how good football teams win football games is. Oh, no one's healthy. We're still going to beat you by 30. So,
hey, if any of you Bills Mafia #Nation you're out there, and you guys know of any Dolphins fans, make sure you check on them. Because I can't imagine what it's like to have 9 days to prepare for the Jets and lose by 23. I don't know. It felt like it got awkward in here really quick. Did it get awkward? Is it awkward that you're 3-2 and 3rd in the division right now?
Well,
does it hurt, Miami? Does it flipping hurt right now? Does it hurt?
I mean, and I got the notification on my phone that Teddy Bridgewater was being evaluated for a concussion. And I was like, of course he is. Because of course he is. Right,
because you got to have something wrong upstairs to play for that team. Anyway, sorry,
get out sorry, with that. Let's get back to the game, Mar. Let's get back to the game.
So, I mean, you got to see the depth. I love the fact that they went back to Hamlin the Hammer and Johnson playing over top in center field. Mm-hmm. That probably won't be the case. That won't be the case. Do you think Johnson outplayed Hamlin enough that if Poyer comes back, he'll play over Hamlin or no? Or do you think Poyer will still be the center fielder in Hyde's role?
I don't know. It kind of depends, right? I think today showed you that Poyer doesn't need to walk back into a 95% snap count.
No, he doesn't.
Right. I mean, of course, against Kansas City, the gloves are off, right? Like you're going to do everything you can because, if Buffalo wanted to create a stir for this game, Josh throwing for almost 450 yards, that'll do it.
Yeah,
that'll do it.
His command of the offense is almost it's growing exponentially now. Yeah. Like it's like it's taken off to a new stratosphere. But the one thing that the Steelers did not do that Miami did, and also Baltimore did, was they were challenging him to go deep.
Sure,
maybe the weather played a factor. I'm not sure, but all the teams that like take away every deep throw for Allen. This is why they do that. You looked at the results today. He completed 6 passes for 627 yards. Like it didn't even matter. It was ridiculous today. But that's why the teams have been taking away everything so deep on Allen.
Yeah, but and today, right? The perfect recipe to have the weather play a factor. And that's what I mean. Josh Allen's just a different level of animal, right? Because he just says, nope, doesn't 20-mile-an-hour winds. Don't. Whatever.
Let me ask you this, Paul.
Whatever.
I'm so curious about this because people are going to be talking about Cook. They're going to be talking about Singletary and Moss tripping over the 10-yard line. But I'm very curious about this. Mm-hmm. Not to be a Debbie Downer again. Do we have to be worried about the Bills' lack of run consistency? I'm not saying lack of a run game. I'm saying lack of run consistency. Does it matter at this point?
No, right? Because we've seen those short, like we saw Hodges with a wide receiver screen. They weren't even screens, right? Just those quick passes outside. Diggs had one. Like, I don't think you really need to be worried about it because if you remove Josh's rushing attempts, right? The Bills ran the ball 13 times today.
Yeah, well, they had the ball for 7 minutes. Like they had the ball. I was kidding. They had the ball for 23 minutes. They did not have the ball long today.
No. Yeah, it's I'm not worried about it because on the ground, Devin Singletary averaged 7 yards a carry. James Cook averaged 7 yards a carry. Zach Moss averaged 7 yards a carry. So who cares, right?
I love
who cares. But no, I think you do supplement some of those rushing attempts with those when Josh sees that their corners are playing off coverage, he's like, I'll throw it to Diggs for 4 yards. I'll check out of this run to throw it to Diggs for 4 yards. I'll check out of this run to throw it to Davis standing at the line of scrimmage when they're in off coverage. Sure. If Josh thinks he can get around the pressure coming from the corner to get that pass off right away, go ahead, do it. And I think that takes away rushing attempts, and I'm okay with that.
It does, but the thing is too, the great part why it's connected is the fact that those are essentially run plays. They're quick hitters that you're getting that supplement the run game. Okay, we're not able to hit it up in here. If you don't get the numbers in the box that you want, all right, just flick it right out to Diggs because they're going to have a guy over the top. They're going to be playing off. They're not going to blitz you, obviously. So, I mean, when they do blitz, it's actually beneficial for the Bills. But if you don't get the numbers that you want inside the box, and basically I'm talking about that 3-yard area around the line, like when Allen's scanning the field and stuff, he's counting how many guys are in the box to see if he has enough numbers to run the ball, and that's when he checks out of those. That's what Paul's referring to. So
Stephen brings up a great point. He says we don't have a consistency in the run game, and that hurts the red zone offense. I will be honest with you, red zone offense, the Bills could have put up 50 today, right? Red zone offense was the last couple of weeks has been.
Were they in the red zone at all this year or today?
3
missed
times?
field goal.
Missed field goal.
I
don't get mad about the Quentin Morris fumble at the goal line. Like I'm not mad about that play. People were a little flushed about it on Twitter. I was like,
tell them why though, Paul. Why that play happened?
Yeah, this is that you run stuff like that because it puts it on film, and now teams go, oh, that's different. We haven't seen Buffalo do that because that's exactly a play Kansas City runs, right? So why not put it on film? You're playing Kansas City next week, right? So you put that on film to say, hey, look what we can do. We know that trick too. And granted, it was a fumble, but the fact of the matter was it was still an effective play. You put it on film and you make Kansas City prepare for it, right? Because it's something Buffalo hasn't done before. You do weird stuff like that when you're winning by a bunch because you need to wait. You have to waste game film. You don't want to, let the cat out of the bag, right? Why keep calling plays that you plan on using next week? Like when you're planning and calling games, I know the Bills talk, oh, we're just focused on this game. That is total nonsense. They are.
They wanted to send a message today again for the Chiefs.
Yeah, they sure did. And even the way that you call a game, you might avoid plays that you're like, listen, we got 3 plays that we know are money, 100%ers against Kansas City. So you avoid calling those plays against Pittsburgh because you don't want to tip your hand.
No, not at all. And it was interesting that you talk about red zone. If I can get a second, I watched the 9:30 game in London of the Packers Giants. And it was so funny having flashbacks to Dable in the plays that were called in the red zone that were just like Do you ever how many post games did you and I call where we were like, he got too cute in the red zone, man? Just keep doing what got you there. You know what I mean? I know it's a tighter space, but stop trying to be so cute. Watching the Giants in the red zone today was exactly that. I mean, they won, they came back, they did a great job, but it felt like that was like the last 3 years we've had. Dave was like, why is he getting so cute in the red zone, man?
Mm-hmm.
It's just some of those things like that. But like to your point, yeah, you got to put some stuff on tape that the other team has to devote time to take away from your bread and butter plays that you have, so they don't have all this other time to plan for it.
Right.
Yeah. That being said, the Buffalo Bills, I believe you're right. I think they wanted to send a message to Kansas City and be like, listen. Now, if you think about all the games the Buffalo Bills have played this year, all 5 of them, the Rams, they felt slighted because they thought they should have been playing them in the Super Bowl. So there was motivation there. The Titans, motivation. The Dolphins, they always beat up on them. So there what's the motivation to beat them up again? I understand. Just stay with me on this, guys. Baltimore, everyone's talking about Lamar Jackson being the MVP up until that point, and they play. Then they go down at the half, and they're like, listen, this isn't going to go down this way. They have some motivation. Today, Pittsburgh comes in and ruins their home opener last year. That's motivation. Now, what do you think that they're going to do to the Chiefs with what they're the things that are going on? I hope they score in the first 13 seconds of the game just to totally shut everybody up initially. I think it would be great.
I mean, I have to look at it this way, Mar. Like this game, Kansas City and Buffalo are both in a unique circumstance, right? Because you looked at this game coming in, and you said Buffalo should mollywop the Steelers, right? You just looked at it, even with the inactives, you look at it, you say Buffalo is far and away still a better team, even with the inactives.
Yeah,
they should mollywop the Steelers. The Chiefs are playing the Raiders. That game shouldn't be close.
No, not at all. No.
Right. The Monday night game that shouldn't even be close. Right. So all things considered, you're going to have 2 teams coming in off likely, really, really strong showings. And the question really becomes, how healthy can you get? Right. That Chiefs offensive line still is not very good. Buffalo's pressure today, they got 3 sacks on a rookie quarterback. I don't know about you, but I'm actually a little unhappy with that. I thought Pickett did a great job of, getting himself out of trouble, showed a lot more poise than a standard rookie quarterback. So that was impressive. Like Pickett, I thought was impressive today for first start from a rookie quarterback.
Well, you did have 4 games where veteran guys had trouble with that rush. So Canada knew, he's like, listen, I got to get the ball out of this kid's hands or he's going to die today.
Yeah.
Like this will be his first and only start. I got to get the ball out of his hands. I got to call these concepts where he gets the ball out of his hands, and that not so much that he knows he has to get the ball out of his hands. I think Pittsburgh has something special in Pickett there. I like that kid's resiliency. Like if something went bad, he didn't hang his head. He got up. The one where he shoved, Shaq Lawson, obviously frustration and all this other stuff happening at the end of the game. I like the kid. You know what I mean? But Canada knew he had to get the ball out of his hands, and so did he. So that's going to be the game plan coming up now for a lot of these teams. You think Mahomes is going to hold on to the ball for 3 seconds?
Yeah.
Nope. Teams have already had 4 games, now 5, to see how that pass rush comes at you. And it's gonna be very interesting to see next week. I cannot wait until next week.
Tyler Martin brings up a great point. He says, if you think Buffalo lacks a running game so far, wait till next week. Josh isn't putting that ball in anybody else's hands. I think that's a really, really fair point, right? Josh is a leader on this team, and he trusts his players, but I don't think he values the running game as much as somebody like Rodgers. They're in different parts of their career, right? Like a quarterback like Rodgers values the running game because he knows it gives you space as a quarterback, right? Josh is not at a point because he could still create so much space just by the athlete that he is, that he doesn't value the running game like a quarterback like Rodgers does. Josh is going to throw that ball 55 times. He's going to throw the ball 55 times.
He probably will, but no, that's the reason, people make light of the Tua situation. Sometimes coaches and stuff got to protect the player from themselves. Allen is young. he's taking all these hits. You know, they're still running him when they're up 30, which I didn't like, obviously. But he needs to realize, and the coaching staff needs to realize, if you want this guy to be a star for you for 5 years or 10 years or 12, you can't be doing this to the kid. You can't put him in situations where he's going to put his body at risk. Now, I know people are going to get on me. Oh, this is the NFL. Oh, this and that. We already have a blueprint of what happens when a quarterback has that happen to him. It's Cam Newton.
Yeah, okay? Newton looks cooked. The last 3 seasons of Newton, he was cooked.
Yeah, because in his first, few seasons that he had, they didn't care. And he thought he was Superman. Guy scores a touchdown, rips open his chest. Okay, yeah, okay. That's great when you're 24 and 25.
I literally have a picture of you doing that at age 39. I want to point that out. It's on our social media platforms. I literally have a picture of you doing that.
Did I change the diaper correctly when I did that? I don't even know. Because that is something to celebrate.
All of our moments. There are those diapers where you're like, man, conquered that mountain.
Woo! No, but what I'll say is this. Over. Next week could probably get a little frustrating for some Bills fans due to some of the calls that may happen in the script. Now, I want to prepare #Nation for this. You guys will be ahead of the game here. So just know first 15 plays that they call in that game, albeit a freak occurrence. Like, for example, today, they probably thought they can go deep on Pittsburgh. I don't think they thought they can go deep on Pittsburgh at their own 2.
Yeah.
It's stuff like, if something freaky happens like that, okay, that's a little different. But usually if they get the ball, touch back, and they start the game, don't get so upset at the script that's going to happen for next week, because they have to try to establish something that the Chiefs are going to be like, listen, Chiefs have to acknowledge that the Bills might run the ball. They can't just drop 7 and have 4 rush and then be like, okay, we're going to take care of Allen this way, because we know they're not going to run. Paul hit a nail on the head when he said, listen, the only way to beat this team is to force their hand to run the ball 30 times.
Yeah, they won't do it.
And they won't.
I'm still convinced they won't do it.
I don't think they will either. But that's when you have Josh Allen there and you take the and he takes the scepter back and says, no, I don't have to run 30 times. I'm going to throw the ball 60 and I'm still going to win. You know what I mean? It's I just don't want the kid being put in harm's way, because Buffalo has waited so long for a franchise quarterback, and it'd be a shame if they only had like 7 years of Allen. And then he's just washed after that because he's taken all these hits. You got to protect him from himself.
I think, Buffalo walks into an interesting scenario where, like, Pittsburgh's defense was missing a lot. Like, they missed him a lot. a lot. But when you take a look at Kansas City, that's a team that's had less than 20 tackles for loss this whole season. Like, I know they don't play this. I know they don't play till Monday night, right? But and I know they're a game short of everybody. But that's not good enough, right? I think what did they had 2, 4? Let me count up how many sacks they have. 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11 sacks as a team. That's not good enough.
With the Bills?
No, the Chiefs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's less than 20 tackles for loss, and under 14 sacks. That's not good enough. That you depend on your offense to win you football games. And I understand in the new NFL you do that, right? Buffalo's certainly done that. But I don't think Buffalo is getting credit for the fact that now they're 5 weeks in and they've only given up double-digit points twice. That's absurd. Yeah. In the scoring era of football that we're in, to only give up double-digit points twice, that's crazy.
To go 4-1 in these first 5 games too. Like, I didn't have the Bills doing that. I had them at 3-2. I
think I was a bit more optimistic than you. I might be wrong there, but I feel like I might have been a bit more optimistic.
No, you had them losing to Pittsburgh. You had them at 3-2, I think. But you had them
losing to Pittsburgh?
No. I'm sorry. You didn't have them at 3-2. No, you had them at 4-1.
4-1 as well. Yeah.
Because you yelled at me for having them at 2-2, losing in Baltimore. Glass half full, Granati. Yeah, he'll come back. Don't worry. I mean, you get Sean chiming in. The sponsor of this show, Sean Rogers from Mr. Rogers Homes. Description is in the his brochure is in the description of this video. Make sure you check it out, guys. It's not that I'm a glass half empty type of guy. It's just I'm talking about. Do you want to have Allen for like 4 years, or do you want to have him for 14 years? I mean,
and Mar, I think the difference there is when you have a player like So let's get into a little bit of a debate here, right? You sent me a text message.
I thought
and
we
said,
were.
well, I mean, let's get into a debate we haven't actually talked about yet. So you sent me a
Okay.
text message during the game,
Uh-oh.
and it was much like a movie from the 90s. What was it? Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar, I think it was the title of it.
My goal, just by the way, they're always in here again. Hold on.
Yeah, you're gonna take care of that.
I got it. I think we
Thank
have
you.
some mods in here.
So you sent me a text about how, hey, thanks for everything, Mackenzie. Nice knowing you, right? Because of Shakir.
You know what? I wanted to make it just full disclosure. I wanted to make it sound like the WWE releases.
Mhm.
We wish them luck in their future endeavors.
There it is. Gone Freck. To Wong Fu, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. That was the movie reference from the 90s
To
I was
Wong
thinking
Fu,
of.
yes.
Thank you so much, Garn. I appreciate that. Yeah, but
thanks,
like
Joe.
you
By the
saw,
way,
what was that?
I said thanks to Joe. Joe took care of the.
Was Patrick Swayze in that movie?
Yes,
It was
with Wesley Snipes
Yeah,
and
all right.
John Leguizamo. Why
That's
do I
that.
know this?
Yeah, you're good. I'm proud of you, Mario. I'm proud
You're
of you.
welcome.
But it's I think there's a real debate here because Buffalo, they drafted Shakur and they did so in a round where you felt like he was likely to make the team, right? Because they probably weren't going to put him on waivers. You signed Crowder and you re-signed McKenzie. Now McKenzie's got a year after this. What do you do? Because you lost McKenzie and Crowder. Shakir shows up, and I think a player like Shakir makes Allen a better quarterback because he's just quicker than McKenzie, right? Like,
It's hard saying that, isn't it? Though.
What?
Because it's hard saying that because McKenzie is cat quick.
Yeah. And McKenzie's experience obviously makes him a more valuable piece, but Shakir is just so dangerous, man.
He is, and he's got like this wide-eyed optimism, like a rookie. Like you can just tell who the rookies are and stuff like that. And it was just, I think, if you can get a guy on a rookie deal that's producing for you, I mean, Bean is just as much a businessman as he is a GM of a team. Obviously, he cares about the players, but he cares about keeping the bottom line where he wants to keep the bottom line. It's a business as much as it is a sport or entertainment. So if you have Shakir, we probably would have never found out if the injuries didn't occur. Let's be honest. I mean, McKenzie would have been in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he didn't take that hit, he would have been in this game,
mm-hmm.
and he probably would have ran some of those similar concepts and stuff like that. But that being said, I want to know how this kid performs I know I made the joke, but I want to see how this kid performs when there's tape on him, when there's tendencies of things that he does. There's a bunch of tendencies on McKenzie now that he has to try to battle through, and he's been doing a great job this year. Mm-hmm. Shakir, he's got to battle through some of the tendencies once he starts developing those when he's on the field. I mean, from a business standpoint, it makes too much sense to have Shakir there and get rid of the $2-3 million that you don't need to spend and maybe use it somewhere else.
Right. Yeah. And Tyler, again, this is probably, I think, the second comment that we've talked about with Tyler. The thing about Shakir that I like better than McKenzie is McKenzie has a tendency to focus drop or let the ball get in on him. And Allen throws such bullets. Like I know Shakir dropped a pass today, but Shakir dropped a pass today with his hands out in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take those drops. You know what I mean? Like I'm willing to take those drops. Those are going to happen. They're football players, right? But he doesn't catch the ball with his body, and he's 6 foot. Like he's not a little guy. And I think when you compare slot receivers, everybody just thinks you have to be 5'8" or below. Like it's an amusement park ride. Like, oh, you must be this tall to be a slot receiver, and that's not true. That's why I say a player like Shakir is more valuable to a player like Allen because 6 foot tall, is a little bit bigger. He is very quick, and a player like that is dynamic. Right. I think a bit more dynamic than McKenzie, a bit more dynamic than Crowder at this point in his career. So I'm all in on Shakir. I say let the kid learn, but maybe not let him learn next week. Right. Maybe not let him learn next week.
Well, Bean has a type for the slot receivers.
Sure.
He does. And he wants to know if they can play inside or outside. Now, you look at Diggs has been playing in the slot this year. Dorsey's moving him around, which I think is brilliant. Because then you're starting to get him out of there. Josh is able to diagnose coverages because if a corner comes down on Diggs when he's in the slot, you know that if it's not the slot corner on him, it's either man versus zone. That's a very easy tell. And then he just reads the safeties after the snap. He's making it very, very easy for him. I think being a former quarterback actually helps Dorsey. But that being said, you got Shakir in there who, what better mentor could you have if you're going to play and come out of the slot? For 4 straight games now, he's been watching Diggs play the slot and how he comes out of the slot and his releases and his breaks and everything. He's been watching McKenzie. You're not going to ask these guys to be blockers, which is fine. We don't need any N'Keal Harrys on this team. I mean, that's fine. Or, Kelvin Benjamins. Oh God, that was a very dark time in Bill's history.
Kelvin Benjamin. I remember going, oh, I like that move.
Nope. I mean, no. You didn't say you liked it. You said you understood it because he was from Carolina.
Yeah. Well, you and I, a long time ago, had a debate as to who would be a better player, Kelvin Benjamin or Mike Evans, because I hated Mike Evans coming out of college.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was.
And I told you that he
such a flame out.
He made Johnny Football look good. That's why I said he would be better.
Damn right about that. You're damn right about that.
But I mean, that's we're gonna have a discussion, Hashtag Nation, and let you guys know. We're gonna have a couple shows when it comes around the bye week. We're gonna talk about all the stuff: Tremaine Edmonds' contract, Ed Oliver's contract, Shakir being the guy in this team instead of McKenzie, and stuff like that. So we're essentially leaving teasers for you guys in all of these post game shows as well. So be on the lookout for that. And you guys can always hit up our community page and start just like throwing. We're gonna have a rapid fire question session on there very, very soon. You guys, any question you guys want, Paul answers them all, guys. So
yeah, thanks so much for that.
But the thing is, getting back to Shakir, I love the fact that he had time today to learn the position, get some reps, get some live game things, But didn't you say something about Zay Jones a while back? He catches the ball did he catch the ball with his body too much or his hands?
Always
with his body?
Yeah, always.
Okay.
That was the problem.
But that was the biggest thing.
That ball, like they were checking Zay Jones for stick him on the numbers. That's how much he caught with his body.
Make sure to leave 500 comments. Spin, if you're 480 of them, guess what? We're gonna answer 480. I'll give Paul tap me in. But no, we talked about Hodges and Davis. I remember there's an episode way in the archives. You guys look for it. It's in the Bills wide receiver playlist. Paul and I actually had a debate, and he was obviously on the Davis side. I was on the Hodges side. But the one consensus thing we agreed on was the fact that both these guys catch the ball with their hands. And all the scouting tape that we watched, they're always catching the ball with their hands. They don't let anything get to their body. Shakir's the same way. So if you have those 3 guys, I mean, it's an embarrassment of riches, but this is what Bean wants. He loves insurance policies at all of those positions.
Right. So. I was really worried that I was going to walk into today to a Isaiah Hodges as a new Duke Williams sort of post game from you.
Oh my God, no. He's so much better.
Good night, everybody.
How dare you? If I have to put up with Dane Jackson, you mother trucker.
I want to point out Dane Jackson got absolutely abused by George Pickens, who is a dangerous weapon. Pickens is a lot of fun to watch, right?
Oh yeah.
He is nasty. Like, don't get me wrong. He has a mean streak in him, but his body control is next level. They absolutely should have challenged that 3rd and 10 that he caught along the sideline, or maybe it was second and 10. Caught the ball along the sideline, 1 foot hit, hand down, secured the ball. That's a catch, right? They didn't throw it. I think it was in the 3rd or 4th quarter. Game was pretty much over there anyway. They should have challenged that. It was 100% a catch. They didn't do it. But George Pickens absolutely launched Dane Jackson off the line today. Launched him. I'll say, if you didn't see it, I'll send it to you.
I saw it. Some people were like, we need a free release. Like someone, like they were making jokes about it. They're saying we need a free release here. I'll see you.
Launched him.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just taking this 5, 6. Let me see here. 6. I'm just gonna check. I'm so interested to see this because this will tell you the genius of the NFL players or the NFL GMs when it comes time for this, that, and the third. So wait, 6 in the first round. So there were 6 wide receivers taken in the first round of this past year. In the second round, 1, 2, 3, 4. He was the 5th one taken in the second round.
Mm-hmm. Well, he
So
had
he
an
was
ACL tear. That's why he's a first round player all day long.
Oh yeah.
First round
They
player,
were
but he
all
had
worried
an
about that.
ACL tear.
He was the 11th wideout taken in the draft. Isn't that
Mhm.
insanity?
Mhm.
I can't believe that. But that's like I said, they're Pittsburgh. They got some special players there that are going to be
Mhm.
rising in the next few years. You're going to be talking about Pickens and whatnot. So today is not their it's not their day. It's not their day. It's the Buffalo Bills time.
So thank you to Joe for cleaning up the chat for us. Joe did a phenomenal job. I actually
He
got
did.
commented or complimented by DF Forever a little earlier. Joe does
Yes.
such a great job with the play-by-play. So if you guys don't know, Joe calls the play-by-play for us every week. So in case you're ever not able to catch the game or whatever your situation is, we got you covered here at hashtag. So Joe does a great job calling the game. I was going to join him for halftime, but I was trying to get a 2-year-old down for a nap. And that is like herding cats, guys. That is like herding cats. You, on the other hand, I didn't know if you were going to be able to make it tonight. You had
I
children
almost
pee on
wasn't.
your furniture, so that is different.
You know what? It was you have those mental mistakes during the games, and I'm not shy for that either. So I have some mental mistakes myself, and one of those mental mistakes being the fact that my daughter I fell asleep on the couch without her diaper on, and it happens. And we recovered for the second half, and we made a great comeback. And my mother's currently downstairs watching them, so I called her out of the bullpen. She's my Case Keenum. You know what I mean? So
Case Keenum, negative yards. Mario actually closed out. Oh, hold on. Let me bring Mario back. Did you what did you do?
I did nothing, sir.
Okay. Somebody closed out of the wrong internet window. That's what happened. Somebody closed out of the wrong internet window.
I
No,
believe
not
you
me.
did.
Not me.
Let me go to live. Are we still live on YouTube?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
we are. Okay.
Yeah, we're still good.
It's been a while since we had technical difficulties on this thing.
That used to be the name of this show, was technical
It was
difficulties.
100%.
So
basically, I just
sorry,
want to tell everyone. So what you guys do if you go to hashtag sports hashtag 2.0, our Twitter handle, what we're gonna do is when the inactives get announced every week, we're gonna tweet out certain things, and I may connect it to the community tab as well. I'm going to put in things that I'm going to be looking for in the game, and then Paul and I are going to talk about at post game. So this week we had Hodges going to have an impact, Shakir in the slot, Hamlin and Johnson part 2, Bernard versus Dodson, Milano in the middle, and where's Ciaran Neal? There were some things. I love how 2 of those are like just my boys. You know what I mean? It's pretty amazing. But the point was, Neal got some run a little bit late when the game was obviously out of hand at corner. So maybe that's the answer to the thing that when everyone was wondering where Neal is. Why isn't he playing in the slot? Why can't he play safety? Why can't he do this? He's playing at corner. So
you don't need him to play safety. I mean,
no,
let's
you
be
don't.
honest, right?
No, you really don't. But the
safety.
point was like I just didn't know where he was. Like I didn't know with all of these injuries, they're breaking guys in off the street, yet they got him sitting there. He's still on the active roster, and they extended him.
Yeah.
So I didn't know. I mean, but Bernard versus Dodson today, I think Milano did a heck of a job directing traffic on that second level. And it makes it a lot easier to direct traffic at the second level when the first level doesn't even touch you.
Yeah. I mean, you take
kudos to that defensive line.
You take a Pittsburgh team that, needed to depend on the run today, and Najee Harris goes 11 for 20.
Yeah.
Beautiful job. Like, I know they were out of it early, but they weren't out of it all that early. Like, Buffalo went touchdown, missed field goal, interception, their first 4 drives, right? So, yes, were they in scoring position? Yeah, of course they were, right? Did they walk away with 10 points out of their first 4 drives? Sure, but they gave you a possession back that you punted 3 plays later, right? So, like, it's really hard for me to say that, like, there's certain investments you have to make as a team when Bernard and Dodson, I'm going to need to see the tape, right, to know really how they played. But from a feel standpoint, you look at the stats and you say they must have played well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
They must have played well.
But this is where the unsung heroes in the trenches, this is where it happens. You know what I mean? If they're able to keep bodies off of that second level and those guys are able to make plays, tackles for losses, and or stop them at the line, that is that is what this team was missing on the defensive side. And it's great to see. You're not hearing a lot about it, but you're starting to see the results of, if you keep bodies off that second level, what Milano's our Val Venus.
Yeah, I saw that.
Does he really come through the line and can say, hello, ladies?
Well, I saw Jessica Tennis's comment and said, hey, does Poyer and Edmonds, do they play if this is Kansas City? Oh, it is all hands on deck for Kansas City.
Oh yeah, everybody's going to be out there.
You're going to be active for that.
I think they re-signed John Fina. They got everybody that if they need depth, they have depth. I think maybe Eric Wood's coming back for that one too. God, I'm not sure.
Get out of here with that. Get out of here with that. No, I think you take the opportunity to get healthy when you can get healthy, and the football season doesn't afford you many opportunities to take a day off.
No.
So I was totally secure with that. I was totally secure with that.
Paul, can we devote about 45 seconds to Saquon Barkley really quick?
Sure.
Can we just do that?
Sure.
Listen, you guys may have seen it in the media. You may have seen it on Twitter or wherever you may have seen it. It is a very tempting thing to have Saquon Barkley on this team. However, you already have a running back in a contract year. That's number 26. You're not going to be paying Saquon Barkley all this other money. Now, just think of it this way. Would you give him Poyer's money? Would you give him Oliver's money? Would you give him Edmonds' money? These are some of the things you're going to have to think about when you think of Saquon Barkley. Do you want him just for this year? Well, then you think of how many assets you would give up just to have him for a half a year.
Right.
Not to mention the fact that Dable's not letting go of that guy.
Right. That's the thing that I keep coming back to right now. Like, the Giants just beat the Packers. You can't this isn't Madden where you can check the force trade button and magically get anybody you want. The Giants have the same record as the Bills. They're not trading anybody.
This is why I said 45 seconds. Like, I just wanted to get it out there in the multiverse just to say, listen, the amount of factors that would have to happen for him to be on this team cancels out a lot of things you already have in-house you have to take care of. So let's I like you some Singletary. We're good. We're good for right now.
You want to give up, if you wanted Saquon Barkley, you got to give up Gabe Davis. That's what it would cost.
Oh my God. Maybe Hodges
you're
too.
Not doing that.
You might have to give up both of them.
Nobody cares about Hodges except you.
Do you know who they're starting over there? Kenny Golladay is like a $17 million cap hit, and he has 7 catches. Like, maybe.
I know.
You kidding me? You tell me he would jump over the table for Hodges at this point.
Well,
he's starting David Sills, Paul.
Yeah, they are starting
David Sills.
They are starting David Sills. But in this offense, at some point, you get diminishing returns from a running back when they touch the ball 7 times a game. Yes. Right? Like, the running back position is not one where you can go on and touch the ball 4 times and walk away with 87 yards to be like, yeah, that's sustainable. No, it's not. Like, James Cook had a long run today at 24, which looked great. Don't get me wrong. I got to be honest. In the second half of games where the Bills have gotten some space, James Cook has looked pretty good, right? But today Cook was 4 for 31 with a long of 24, and on the 24 he looked great, right? But that's not sustainable. He's not going to get better with 4 carries a game. So at some point you have to get away from the committee and make a commitment to developing your players. Singletary's in a contract year. Moss is going to get what he gets at this point, I guess. I think you really start seeing a push to get Cook more developed come week 10, 11, 12, and try and get him a little bit more time to see what's really there. But hey, if this game brought us nothing but a 38-3 stomping, we did have a Bobby Hart sighting. Bobby Hart was on the field for that James Cook touchdown run and fell on his way to the touchdown celebration. Completely fell.
He was doing 100%. His best Jordan Phillips impression.
That was bad when Phillips blew a tire going down the field.
Oh my God. It's like when Martin Gramatica celebrated a kick and he tore his ACL. Like, what are you doing?
Yep.
I don't move that much during the games. I'm sorry. Cook had 10, 11 carries a game in college. Don't expect him to be a bell cow for 17. Yeah, that's true. And we've talked about it many times here. You can't rookie guys first of all, McDermott wants guys time on task. That's number one. He's not going to just give the reins to a rookie, immediately. So you need that. Number two is he fumbled in the first game of the year. You guys say, oh, well, that was the first game. It was his first carry. So
that was only like 20 carries ago. Like
you got to earn your way
back.
back.
That was only like 20 carries ago.
Yeah, well, you got to earn your way back into it. And the other thing is, it's the way that Singletary's been playing, like his job's on the line, because quite frankly, it is. Cook wasn't going to have to see the field. I mean, in past.
And there he goes, guys. There he goes. Look at that beautiful idiot. There he is.
Who's that? Where?
You totally froze. You completely froze. Oh yeah, in a beautiful still frame.
Oh, that's great.
A beautiful still frame.
That's awesome. Anyway, no, I was just trying to say about Singletary's. You're not going to give Cook all these carries and stuff when Singletary, especially him in pass pro, is just amazing.
Right.
So Cook's not there yet.
Yep.
Why does my computer want to update when I'm doing a post game? Like, you got all the other hours of the day when I'm not even here. Like, what's going on? I don't even know. So, it's Paul, right, I got a question for you. We all agree that it would have been all hands on deck. The inactive list, there probably would have been guys you never heard of on the inactive list if this was Kansas City. Going into next week, obviously we are going to be doing the post game. It's going to be a little bit later. But going into Kansas City, I think some of the concerns for me are going to be obviously the health of the team. Mm-hmm. That's number one. Number two, I think what I want to see is if the Bills don't score on their first couple of possessions, I want to see how they execute some of the run game and some of the run calls that they have, because they have to at least give Kansas City the illusion that they're trying to run the ball. Now, a lot of people might say, why? Just throw the ball 13 times and go down the field. Okay. You think that's sustainable? Then fine. But, they'll let it fly in Kansas City. They will end up letting it fly. But I'm very curious to see what Dorsey's script will be in that game coming out into the game. I'm so curious about that above everything else.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there, right? I think that script is determinative of the plays that, one, you think you can exploit, and two, mix in things that you don't think they're ready for, right? And we have not seen Buffalo be very effective. We brought in, you bring in an offensive line coach that you expect to run this inside zone scheme, and it just hasn't. I know they've had health issues across the offensive line, but these are also professional football players, right? So, like, you kind of demand to have the buy-in. I don't think, I mean, at least me, I haven't been very excited about the offensive line blocking so far through the first 5 weeks in the run game. Again, I think that zone scheme is something that generates gaps for a running back. So there's no reason for it not to be working, and it just really hasn't. And, I think if you can remember who you are as a team, right? I think that is what's going to win you that football game. Is don't forget who you are, because it's a 3-point game. And I think Buffalo is guilty of that the last 3 times they played Kansas City, right? They get into these shootouts and then they forget who they are as a team, and they just try and throw the ball 45 yards down the field on every pass, right? And then Josh is in the pocket too long and he's running for his life. So you have to remember who you are as a team. And I think you'll beat Kansas City. That defense is just not good. I think you'll beat Kansas City, but you have to remember who you are as a team. And Buffalo has definitely not been good at that in the previous games against the Chiefs.
Do you have a Dennis Green clip loaded up that I don't know about?
What?
You just gotta remember who you are. Like, they are who we thought they were. Like,
we let them off the hook.
The Bears are who we thought they were. Yeah, I mean, there's some conflicting comments, coming into the chat. Don't be conservative, don't do this, don't do that. I want to see what Dorsey wants to try to set up in that first series. What is he going to try to do? Is he going to try to do all these little quick hitters with Josh to get the ball out of his hands? Is he going to run Josh early? Does he run Singletary early? Do they flank out Cook to try to see if they can, disguise some of the coverage? They continue to put Diggs in the slot. I'm so curious about that.
Well, and Mar, let's not forget, when Cook fumbled on that first carry, it was a dual running back look. And that's something
Yeah.
that we haven't seen in Buffalo ever,
Since.
really. Yeah, we haven't seen it since. You're absolutely right. But that's clearly
Mm-mm.
something that they felt was a look that they wanted, and Cook put the ball on the turf. But again, you've only seen it that one time. It's the only time I've seen two running backs in the backfield for that dual back look. Maybe you see a return of that. You did it once in week 1. Maybe you don't, I mean, you definitely haven't seen it since. So maybe that's a look that you see because, again, it's so unique. But clearly it was something that they had worked on if it was featured in week 1. Right.
Yeah.
Like,
And you know what, though? We always talk about it being a copycat league. And I remember once upon a time when Rodgers, he used to have a running back next to him, and he used to have Randall Cobb next to him. He'd be in the 2-back set in shotgun. Now, I believe Cook can run a lot of those different routes that you want. It's just a matter of him actually hanging on to the ball. I think what you have to do is you got to get Cook out in space. You get Cook out in space, it might be over. The guy could take it 80 anytime he wants. But it's about him getting acclimated to the offense, learning certain things he needs to learn, picking up blitzes on pass pro.
Yep.
There's a bunch of different things that he needs to learn. But I love the upside of the kid. And I love the fact that the Bills have those options on the offense to do that. In a 2-back set, would I like to see Singletary and Cook back there? Absolutely. Singletary and Moss. All right, I'll accept it, but it's not my first choice. Like, I don't, Moss is Moss. I mean, he's between a rock and a hard place right now. So he's still got another year on his deal. If you don't sign or re-sign Singletary, he's not the guy. It's Cook. He's not the next guy, and it's Cook.
Right.
Like, we see him in there before Cook, I understand. But after this season, if Singletary is not signed, it's Cook. It's not Moss. So
Nathan Thomas asks, update on Tre'Davious White. Listen, in Buffalo, they have been real coy about this, right? They are not letting anybody know what's happening with Tre'Davious White. I was hopeful to see him today if he was going to play in Kansas City, because while Kansas City's wide receiver group is not as dynamic as it has been in previous seasons, Mahomes is still throwing for 350 a game for a reason, so like that's a big ask to get Tre'Davious back for this game. So I would not expect to see him for this game. That is just speculation. I would have hoped to have seen him today to get him ready for next week. And just, I think it'd be a lot. I think you're going to need that roster space if he's not. I don't think you can force him back. I guess that's the best way for me to phrase it. I don't think you can force him back.
I mean, they're not putting eye-popping numbers up, but there's a reason why the Kansas City Chiefs decided to go with MVS and Juju Smith. Juju played with Big Ben, an intelligent, smart, Super Bowl winning quarterback. MVS played with Aaron Rodgers, smart, Super Bowl winning quarterback. And you want to give those two presents to Mahomes. I'll figure out what to do with those things. You know what I mean? And because the entire focus now is on Kelsey. So if you focus on him, that's one-on-one matchups that these guys have not been afforded in the past.
Right.
So now they're getting those one-on-one matchups and they're winning them. So plus you got Bieniemy there calling the shots. That guy is one of the most dynamic play callers in there. He's learning from Reed. Why wouldn't he be? I love what he's doing.
Bieniemy?
Oh,
the reason he's not a head coach, man. Yeah, hearing nasty things about Bieniemy.
You know what? Okay, that's Matt Nagy's fault. Okay, that's Matt Nagy's fault. There's a reason why he's not. Breece Hall is greater than Elam.
Oh, saying that we should have drafted Breece Hall instead of. Hey, listen, you're not. Don't get me wrong, right? I like Breece Hall a lot. I fall in love with the running backs every now and again. I like Breece Hall a lot. I didn't love Breece Hall as much as I love Jonathan Taylor coming out of college. Jonathan Taylor was the guy. Like, you don't get him every year, right? Like, you don't get him every year.
Kenneth Walker.
Okay, Kenneth Walker. Rashad Penny was in a boot after the game. So for those of you in fantasy,
I've already put the waiver claim on.
Kenneth Walker might matter next week.
Breece Hall. Come on, guys. They were playing the Dolphins. Come on.
The Dolphins that beat us. Listen, can't talk about that.
They're playing the Dolphins.
Can't talk about that.
We
don't talk about Bruno, Mario.
We don't talk about Bruno. Okay, all right. Listen, it's become at that time. You guys know you can find us on all of our socials: TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, as well as iTunes and Spotify. Patreon link is in the description, as well as our sponsor, Mr. Rogers Homes, in association with Dean Blundell. You're listening to the Hashtag Sports presentation of the Bills versus the Steelers post game. Paul, it's 3 minutes of roasting
Yes,
time.
let's go.
Buffalo Bills win. If it's your first time here, make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button. When we win, or I apologize. When the Buffalo Bills win and we do a post game, we get roasted. So I will put 3 minutes on the clock. I will start it when the first roast comes in, and whenever it starts. Paul, you want to read them off for us? And
Listen,
how bad we get
I'm
toasted
happy.
tonight?
I'm happy to do so. I know it's gonna be hard for you to read with those freaking sunglasses on.
Hey, you're going on the assumption that I could read without them.
You teach math for a reason.
Yes, I do. Numbers, not letters. Let's go.
Again, thank you to Sean Rogers and Mr. Rogers Homes for sponsoring tonight's show, and of course the play-by-play, which you can catch with Joe every week. So again,
Absolutely.
Here we go. All right, gentlemen. Oh, hey, listen. That's actually a really good suggestion from DF. There's a mode where we can turn the live streams on so only subscribers can comment.
Yes, I was
bat stuff. So
I was taking a look at that. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
taking a look at that. I was thinking of doing it next week, possibly.
That's not a bad idea. Davis Bryant says, Paul, is that a Washington losers hat? No. This is not. It is not. My son played baseball in Lockport, and we have this fancy. It just fits good. I'm at a point in my life where I wear things that just fit good. It doesn't have any other meaning than that. Mario, sunglasses. Maybe that's why 9 and 7 looks so good.
Always did. Always did.
Mario, why does the sign behind you still say lick and subscribe? Still running that OnlyFans?
Hey, listen, I got to pay the bills in here, bro. What do you want me to do? People like pictures of my feet. What can I say?
That's funny.
The sun
always shines on cool guys. The wrong person's wearing sunglasses on this stream. I'm getting a boo. I do think it's funny. The punter got booed at the Bills game today. When they finally rolled out the punter, they booed.
That poor guy.
Yeah. Hey, listen, his job is to help Tyler Bass score points.
He's a bullpen catcher for Mariano Rivera. He's got the easiest job ever.
That's a good job. That's a good job. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. You can even set a timer for how long you've subscribed. So that way, so like an hour of subscribe equals chat access. Hey, I'll take tips from the chat. That works for me. That works for me.
I've seen that. I just didn't know if it would affect the one stream that we had.
Mm-hmm.
Your future is not that bright where you have to wear shades.
Nope. Garn says, do we pay him by the punt?
I'd be interested if someone actually had that.
So that's true. That's true. Oh, man, the bots are back.
That's all right. That's
lick
fine.
Comment brought to you. Yeah, the lick comment brought out the bots. That's what it was. It was the lick comment.
Yeah, it's always one of those. I got it. I'll take care of it. Oh, they already been putting time out. You got it.
I got it. I got
Pippi Biden. No, we don't do politics stuff here, man. Come on.
What does your T-shirt say, by the way?
I'm about to do something awesome.
I can't wear shirts with that many words on it because they don't fit across this pigeon chest that I have.
I bought Paul a shirt very similar to this one. It said hello on it, and he couldn't wear it.
Yeah,
it went from shoulder to shoulder.
It sure did. The period, it was on the back. It was all awkward. It was very awkward.
It brought out the bot. Oh my God, that's so funny. So Bills Mafia, we were vindicated. Brees is going to be a stud. 100 yards rushing, 100 yards receiving, 2 TDs. Wow. Still trying to find a running game. All right.
Hey, you know what? It's just one of those things, man. You can't be upset with the running game when your quarterback throws for 423 yards, 420 something yards. Yeah, we could complain about the running game all day. Everybody that touched the ball, not named Case Keenum, averaged at least 7 yards a carry today. So on the macro level, we have very little to complain about. On the micro level, I agree, not sustainable, right?
Yes.
But also, Josh walked away with no sacks. Like, you got to take the good with the bad here, right? I agree. Being concerned about the running game is, you look in the winter time, and once the cold weather hits, you really want that running game going. But you're not there yet, right?
Yeah.
And you're not going to be there next week either, because I don't see any way this team runs the ball 25 times, even including Josh's attempts. I don't see any way they run the ball 25 times against Kansas City. It's just not going to happen.
Well, if they go up by 30 at halftime, they are going to run the ball a little bit more in the second half.
I think they'll be more cautious than they were with Pittsburgh. Yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah, I agree with you there because Buffalo's the second half of Buffalo. Let's see what they scored. They had 1 touchdown. They went fumble, touchdown, punt. Their last
I think. Yeah, but I think what the biggest thing about Buffalo now versus Buffalo in previous years is that you couldn't trade field goals for touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you go down in the red zone now and it comes down to it, you get 3, you get some sort of points because your offense is that much better than it's been in previous years, where you can make up certain things like that. So while I don't want to trade 7 for 3, obviously, but if the Bills kick a field goal when they get into the red zone, like they don't punch it in, I'm not going to be as worried as I have in previous years. So
right. All right, Mar, I think we're at that time. Don't forget, we got an outro video. We played the outro video last week, and you ended the stream after about 4 seconds. Don't forget, we have an outro video.
We have an outro video. I will not forget to do that. So #Nation and Bills Mafia. Enjoy your Victory Monday. Be on the lookout for Paul's video for Victory Monday. And enjoy your day off if you have a day off tomorrow. So for Paul, I am Mario. This is #Sports in association with Dean Blundell and sponsored by Mr. Rogers Homes. We're out of here. See you next week.
Hello, fellow Bills fans. Sean Rogers, realtor and lead of the Mr. Rogers Homes team. Did you know that real estate is one of the best ways to build wealth? And right now is one of the best times to own an investment property in Arizona? Please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to answer any of your questions so we can take the next step to your financial freedom here in the Valley of the Sun, utilizing real estate. As always, God bless America and go Buffalo!
Later, guys.